Good morning. It is Monday, April 28th, and I have decided to try a video blog. I don't know how well I will actually like it. I tend to feel that I do a little bit better in writing itself, so we'll see. I'm doing this mostly because Judah had his genetics appointment, and I kind of wanted to give an update on him, but I feel like it's a lot to explain. And so I figured I would try this. So bear with me. It's early enough in the morning that I have not finished my coffee. So bear with us. My coffee machine has decided to do something on its own, so that's fine. Anyway, so basically, Judah was diagnosed with what is called ring chromosome 6, and it is an incredibly rare genetic, I guess, disorder, you could call it. Normally, every human being, when you have a set of chromosomes, I drew this, so when you have a set of chromosomes, they look similar to this. You're going to have a longer arm and a shorter arm, and they're kind of cinched off in the middle, like if it had a belt or something of that nature. Usually, a normal individual would have 2 of these for each set of chromosomes. Well, in Judah's particular case, his 6th chromosome looks more like this. Straight and then a circle. Kind of what we've run into is that part of his genetic makeup has been deleted. So if you were to chop off a little bit on each end, basically they start to call them what's called the sticky ends, and they kind of swirl around and stick together, and then it forms the ring, which is going to look like that. This causes the problem when his cells were going to replicate, basically, and the doctor referred to it as what they call a mosaic situation, meaning this particular chromosome, the ring, is incredibly unstable, as they refer to it. Therefore, meaning there is no predicting what it will do. It could potentially replicate and make another ring. It could potentially delete it altogether. Or it could actually duplicate part of his DNA. And so the reason it's so rare is that you could have 2 patients that have a ring chromosome 6, and because the cells do different things, they could have similarities in their issues, I guess you could say, or they could be totally different. And so realistically, it's a disorder in which they cannot say what will happen. There's no definitive negative, there's no definitive positive. In that case, we look at it and we go, there's hope. We don't find hope because of the doctor's answers. We find hope because we trust that God has everything under control. But so basically ring chromosome 6 is kind of the root to all the problems that we've had, from the developmental delay to the most recent one, which we haven't talked about much, is the doctors are saying he has like a growth retardation, basically. So for many of you who haven't seen Judah in person really or anything like that, he's 17 months old. He weighs 17 pounds. His growth has kind of plateaued, as well as his height. His head circumference we suspected was going to happen, mostly just because he's had surgery. And so that's going to be a little more of a permanent thing, but there's that. There's, obviously he had the herniated umbilical cord that he had surgery for. He had the craniofacial malformations where his occipital bone and then obviously his frontal plates here were sunken in, and so his brain didn't have room to grow. So in December he had the surgery to have the backbone basically pulled out to give him more room, stretched everything out. We're going back in a couple months. They're going to do the front. This one's going to include like his eye sockets. They're going to bring those out so his eyes have more room. So this one's a little scarier for me. I know God has it under control, but as a mom, you just kind of start to do the freaking out thing. But there's that. Basically every issue that we've had, the epilepsy, those type of things, those are all fruit of the problem, the actual problem. So basically we're kind of at a place with him where we just kind of ride the wave and see what comes next. On a daily basis. I think we can write about it and talk about it, but I don't think people really understand, the magnitude of what, I guess what this all entails for him. He has an amazing physical therapist, an occupational therapist. He has a child developmental specialist that he meets with, almost all three, on a regular basis, weekly. They come to our home. He just got eval'd for feeding therapy, so once a month he has to go to have feeding therapy. For the growth issues, we are seeing a nutritionist and an endocrinologist. Obviously, he has a neurosurgeon who's been absolutely phenomenal. This will be his 4th surgery with him coming up. He now has a plastic surgeon. I mean, you name it, he's got it. I feel like I'm missing some. He has a neurologist, obviously his pediatrician. We just got referred to Shriners, so we'll be going to Shriners soon for some things. And so, you know, it's just kind of this array of doctors and specialists that we have to juggle on a pretty regular basis. And so this is kind of our crazy season right now because we have been seeing a lot of specialists. We're going to start gearing up for surgery here pretty soon, meaning so we're going to have some pre-op appointments and things like that. And so things just get a little crazy, to say the least. And then you throw in the fact that we have any form of a social life, and there's Lily, you know, me working 40 hours a week, and then just, you know, just trying to be a normal human being on top of everything else. And so things get pretty crazy. So yeah, so that's kind of where everything is at. If I had to say anything, I feel like that we would just ask that you would pray for Judah specifically, you know, whether you believe it or not, or whether it's kind of part of your faith or what you believe in. We very firmly, we've had a couple of what we refer to as prophetic words and visions, should I say, of Judah when he's older and he's fine and he's just a big strapping guy, and just some things that we feel like the Lord has even spoken to our hearts, has just confirmed that. And so our specific prayer for him is that you would pray that his body would begin to line up with who God says he is and who's God has called him to be. We believe our son has a great calling on his life. You know, just from the fact of he was still in the womb, and the prayer network that opened up for our son didn't just happen like amidst like close friends and family, but it spread throughout the nation, different churches, different friends we've known in different states, and then we've even had, I believe it was like up to 7 different countries, 7 different people, groups in 7 different countries that began praying and interceding for our son. And so we believe he's been touching, God's allowed him to start touching lives even before he was born, and we feel like that's a really big deal. And so we trust, and you know, we keep hoping, and with every surgery, with every doctor's appointment, we've just kind of reserved ourselves to the place that we'll hear what the doctors say, but we have a God that's bigger and that does greater miracles than even doctors do, and that what medical research and what science says. And so we're just in a place where we give it to God and we trust him fully, and we recognize that he's sovereign and he knows what he's doing, and none of this took him by surprise. And so that's kind of my request, is that if you're praying for our son, that's what you would pray for him, that his body would become as it's supposed to be, as God's called it to be, and so that he can fulfill his purpose and calling. And yeah, so, but that's where we're at. And if you're praying for our family, you know, just pray for peace. You know, God, people have been praying for peace for us for so long, and it's amazing because in the moments when, logically speaking, I think that we all should be falling apart and just feeling like the world's collapsing around us, there's just been this tangible sense of peace, and we know it's been God, and it's been the prayers of literally hundreds of people who just kept up with our family and prayed for us and have been absolutely amazing to us. And so to you guys, we say thank you, we love you, we appreciate you. To all the people who've just blessed us between finances, between you know, bringing food to our home, to just simple words of encouragement, to prayer, putting your word out to your local churches to keep our son in prayer. Like those have just been irreplaceable and nothing short of amazing and astonishing to us. And so to you we say thank you, and we extend our greatest gratitude and love, and there's not much more you can say. It kind of leaves you speechless when you're in a place like this. So so that's it. If if you like this and you think it's awesome, leave me a comment. Let me know if you like it, if you like this better than the blogs and the writing. It'd be good to know. Otherwise, thank you. We love you guys, and we'll talk to you soon.